Today, we're going to take a look at some of the most expensive LEGO Minecraft minifigures of all time. From a simple villager to the complex wither, all the figures on this list go for a surprising amount of money. And stick around until the end to see which one is the most expensive of all. You may even have it in your own collection. Let's go! So the first figure I'd like to talk about today is not actually a minifigure. In fact, it's far from it, which is half the entries on this list actually. So from here on out we will use the term mob when referring to the subjects in question. Anyhow, this initial entry is the Ravager, who appeared in the Illager raid set in 2020, and is one of the harder parts of raids in Minecraft, unless you have height, a bow and some arrows. I think it is recreated pretty faithfully here. The colour isn't 100% accurate, though I'm not sure what colour they could have gone with instead. The sand blue highlights look nice, and I'm surprised they actually got this much detail into it, especially as the pixels on the in-game version are considerably smaller than LEGO plates. It currently averages $20 on Bricklink, which seems to be a pretty fair price. The next mob we'll be discussing is a very annoying resident of the Nether, the magma cube. Now you may be thinking that the magma cube can't be too rare and expensive, as the smaller ones appear in a set this year and the big one was in a set in 2022. And that's true, but the magma cube I'm talking about here is the original large one from the Nether Railway in 2017. This utilises a lot of brown pieces instead of dark red like on the newer one. The interior build is different, and I don't believe this one is actually a perfect cube shape. And I could be wrong, but I believe this is different still to the one from the big skeleton set, even though it's actually representing a small magma cube there. One thing consistent throughout all three is clever design, allowing it to jump like in game, so kudos to the designer for that one. This mob actually isn't that expensive, only around $5.50 USD, though I included it in here because this design hasn't been seen in 7 years, making it relatively rare. The next figure on this admittedly arbitrarily put together list is the Husk, not the coconut kind. The original version of the Husk appeared in the Creeper Mine in 2020. Now I always thought this figure looked pretty good and was a nice representation of what it looks like in game. That was until I saw the brand new one released in June this year, and the new one absolutely knocks the old mob out of the park. The printing is phenomenal and the torso and face are a lot more detailed. Sadly no leg printing though, which is few and far between on Minecraft minifigures anyway. The original one, and now inferior one I guess, averages $5.30 used on Bricklink, which is over $1.50 per piece. Though if you want to add the Husks to your collection, I would highly recommend you get the newer version, because the Badlands Mineshaft is a great set. Next is a very similar mob, the Stray, and by similar I mean the Husk is to the zombie family what the Stray is to the skeleton family. I love the LEGO Stray. I think the in-game design is very unique with its tattered grey appearance, and it is translated to LEGO pretty well. The original one was released in 2018 in the Polar Igloo and had this awesome tattered cloth piece, which I think really sold the appearance. The next time it was released was in 2023, where it was missing the cloth piece, instead being replaced by golden armour, which is very annoying, but that's a story for another video. The original Stray averages around $6.50 on Bricklink, and I think this figure is near perfect, and it makes me intrigued to see how they'll translate the brand new Bogged into brick form. Next up is the Charged Creeper, who was exclusive to the Mountain Cave until 2021, where it appeared in the terrible modern Treehouse set, and then again in 2023 in the Iron Golem Fortress. So unlike a lot of LEGO Minecraft figures, this one has become decreasingly rare. It uses the original creeper body, but the head and arms are replaced with trans light blue cheese slopes. I'm not sure why they released it in 2 further sets, but more availability is nice. Even so, it still averages a not insignificant amount of $20 on Bricklink. The Charged Creeper looks pretty good, though I think it's really time for LEGO to update the whole creeper design overall, and make it look a tad bit more game accurate. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, please consider leaving a like or letting me know in the comments what your favourite LEGO Minecraft mob is. Thanks! Moving on now to one of the more strange but classic Minecraft mobs, the Slime. No, not the small slime who, like the Charged Creeper, has become increasingly common. I'm talking about the large slime who only appeared in the legendary Mountain Cave set in 2017. Just like how the Magma Cube is brilliantly designed, I must say that this mob is also brilliantly designed, being able to house 2 smaller slimes inside of it. There are lots of nice trans bright green recolours here, and the printing is accurate, though the price on this one is jaw-dropping. It averages $87 on Bricklink, which is steep for a green cube to say the least. But it's really no wonder as to why. Seeing as they like bringing back the Magma Cube so much, I'm surprised the large slime hasn't actually received an updated version yet. Hopefully a new one isn't too far away. Now we have a very scary mob, and if you've ever tried to defeat it in Bedrock Edition, you'll know what I'm referring to. For those who don't, it's the Wither, who only appeared in 2016 in a conspicuously named set called The Wither. I've said this before and I'll say it again, but the Wither is recreated very, very nicely here. This figure is about 8 years old and it still holds up very accurately and looks like something they would release today. It hasn't been seen since that one set, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. But on the flip side, it makes it much harder to acquire these days if you don't already have it. And seeing as they have remade the Iron Golem and the Ender Dragon multiple times, I think we are really due for a modern take on it. The current and only version of it averages $23 on Bricklink, which isn't super horribly priced. At least it's not as bad as the Slime's value. Anyway, we will have to wait and see whether we get a remake in the coming years. Now we move on to a golem. No, not the iron kind or the late copper and tough kinds. No, I mean the cold and icy snow golem. The snow golem has initially appeared in the Snow Hideout in 2015, but there is a very slightly different version that appeared in the Ice Spike set in 2017. This is another one that I feel surely would have been remade by now, but apparently not. And to be fair, I genuinely always forget this is even a mob that exists in the game. Though one with a new head showing what it looks like without the pumpkin could be pretty cool. There have only been a few opportunities to do it over the years, however, because like swamp based sets, cold biome based sets are kind of rare. And I almost forgot to mention this one's most glaring detail, the old stud shooters for arms. Since this piece was last seen in 2022, I'm pretty sure it's retired by now. If they were to reissue the snow golem, I wonder what piece they would use for the arms instead. The original one only averages about $4.50 used on Bricklink, so not nearly as much as I expected. In fact, I may end up calling this video Rare LEGO Minecraft minifigures that are surprisingly inexpensive. Okay, so I've saved the best two figures for last, the first one of those two being the Witch. I've been over her a few times at this point, but I'll run through it again quickly. The Witch was released in the Witch Hut set in 2017 and remained exclusive to that set and quickly grew to be one of the most expensive LEGO Minecraft minifigures, until 2023 that is, when the Witch's torso and legs were re-released in the Pumpkin Farm set, giving newer fans like myself a chance to get her, while still keeping the original one rare due to the exclusive head. Even with the new one released, the old one still averages around $30 used, though if you'd like the Witch, I would highly recommend getting the Pumpkin Farm instead. Moving on. Now this last one I was actually shocked to find was the most expensive, as I always thought that title went to the Witch. But no, apparently the white librarian villager from the eponymous village set in 2016 is the rarest and most expensive. So I'll get the price out of the way first, as this villager averages close to $50, which is a bit more than our pointy-hatted friend. The most remarkable detail about this to me is actually just how unremarkable this figure looks. We've seen plenty of villagers, and apart from the white torso, this one just doesn't really stand out at all. At least not as much as the modern detailed ones. This was another one of the older style villagers which had this weird printing on their heads, which is done away with sometime after 2018. And apparently this is a librarian, but I couldn't even tell because I believe this was before the in-game ones had the defining hats and glasses. And I think this just goes to show that a modern librarian is long overdue. Thank you for making it to the end of my glorified PowerPoint presentation. To clarify, this was by no means every rare and expensive LEGO Minecraft minifigure, just some of the most interesting ones. If you would like to dive more into the subject, I recommend you click on one of these two videos here. That's been all for today folks, have a great day and see you next week.